In this video, we are going to learn about the noise reduction effects. We are not going to learn about a particular effect, how to use it, but we are going to learn about what are our options regarding noise reduction effects, and if we can go beyond the default effects we get in Adobe Audition and Audacity. Is there any third-party effects that are better, and if they are better, in which conditions they are better? So it is a bit of comparison and to understand actually in which case which noise reduction effects to apply. If you go into Adobe Audition's effects and go to noise reduction and restoration, you will see several effects here, and from these effects the kind of noise we want to reduce is actually the hissing noise or white background noise, and for those we have effects like noise reduction process, hiss reduction process, DeNoise, and adaptive noise reduction. Other effects in this list are not directly related to the white noise removal. So for now, let's concentrate only on these four. So how these four effects actually works. For example, if you take about the noise reduction process, and you probably know how to use it, this effects requires you to select a noise print. So you will select a noise sample and then you will tell Adobe Audition to capture that, and based on that it will remove the noise. So the sample you give, it will reduce noise only based on that. So your sample will be considered as noise. So the performance of this effect depends on actually how well you have selected that noise, and I will get to this point later. And another effect is the hiss reduction. This hiss reduction also works similarly to the noise reduction process. Still you have to select a hiss or the noise you want to reduce, and then you have to capture. So these two effects, noise reduction effect and the noise reduction process and the hiss reduction process, these two works based on your selection of the noise. So that is an important point to notice, because the performance of these two effects will depend on how well you define the noise through your sample. So it is up to you. There are other effects like DeNoise and adaptive noise reduction. In this case, for example, in DeNoise, you cannot actually select the noise sample. You can select the processing focus, like at which frequencies you have the noise, and it is kind of your understanding of at which frequencies the noise resides in, and then you select that as a processing focus. But other than that, it is only the amount. So this is how the DeNoise works. And another effect we have, that is the adaptive noise reduction, this one. And this one works a bit of differently, and in this case Adobe Audition actually calculates the noise. Adobe Audition understands the noise from your recording sample, and this one is the better noise reduction effects among Adobe Audition effects, adaptive noise reduction. So if you have a very basic level of noise, and then you can use the DeNoise, or otherwise you should use the adaptive noise reduction. But keep in mind, the adaptive noise reduction and DeNoise, they judge the noise on their own, or Adobe Audition judge the noise profile for you. You do not give the noise sample as you do in the hiss reduction or noise reduction process. So for these two, like the DeNoise and adaptive noise reduction, to work better, Adobe Audition have to understand your noise. The way it does that it plays your audio and then it understands the noise by playing your noise. So for adaptive noise reduction and DeNoise to work better, I suggest you always keep some noise at the beginning of your recording. For example, many people make the mistake. They hit the record button and start talking right away. But that is not the way you should record. First you hit the record button and be silent about 5-6 seconds, and at that time only your noise will be captured. So when a noise reduction plugin will work on your audio, from the beginning part of that audio, it will understand this is the noise and this is I should remove. So if you want the adaptive noise reduction or DeNoise to work better, always try to keep 5 or 10 seconds of noise or room tone at the beginning. So you may say that, okay, I do not need that 5 or 10 seconds of room tone in the final production. It's okay. And When you have done all the processing, then you can actually cut down all those room tone from the beginning. But for the recording, you should always start with some noise. So from all the discussion, we can say that adaptive noise reduction is the best in Adobe Audition. And for that to work perfectly, you need to have some noise at the beginning. Otherwise, it cannot calculate very well that what is your noise. Another thing about Adobe Audition noise reduction is actually if you click on any of the effect and you will see a help page icon where you can see the help of this effect. You can go to that page and you can kind of skim through all the text what they are actually trying to say, or what kind of noise they can reduce, or at which point they works better, and you can kind of study this to get an idea. In this document you will get some idea actually how this works or how to configure this kind of thing. You can go through this doc and you can understand better actually. If you want to learn in depth about these things, then you can go to this place. If you have access to this school community, you can write your question here and I can answer you. So that was all about the noise reduction effect, built-in noise reduction effects in Adobe Audition. And if you are a Audacity user, you actually don't have much flexibility in terms of advanced noise reduction. The only noise reduction you have is the noise reduction effect in Audacity, and it is very basic. So if you want to go beyond the basic effects in Audacity, or even if the built-in effects of Adobe Audition, the other better options are Waves Clarity VX, Supertone Clear, and sometimes the iZotope RX. Let me show you. If you want to go beyond the built-in effects available in Adobe Audition or Audacity, the better options are Clarity VX, Supertone Clear, and iZotope RX. Let me quickly show you how to configure. One of the most popular plugin at this moment for noise reduction is the Waves Clarity VX. It is very simple to configure and use. It only has a knob and you kind of dial this knob to adjust your noise reduction amount. And for ideal case, you should not go beyond 40 or 50%. And if you have to go beyond 50% or 40%, then that means actually your recording environment is not good enough for high quality or top quality recording, because you have noise more than expected. So you can have a look on this plugin. This plugin has a free trial. So this is, from my experience, I will say this is the best. And it also works like the adaptive noise reduction. It kind of learns on its own what noise you have. It has the AI or machine learning algorithm inside it, which can detect the noise from your recording. So you play the audio and it kind of detects the noise, and that way it reduces the noise. So Waves Clarity VX is quite popular and it works quite okay. And there are other options like Supertone Clear. There is another option, Supertone Clear, and Supertone Clear is not only reduces noise, it can also take care of the voice reverb or the sound reflection of the room. Supertone Clear has a bit of more flexibility in terms of reducing noise, because it also let you keep how much of the ambience you want to keep, and it also reduces some of the reverb. So it is a bit complex to configure than the Waves Clarity VX, and for professional and top quality audio, you may not want to disturb too much of the voice. You see that Supertone Clear has a more option to reduce noise in terms of how much ambience you want to keep, and also how you want to play with the room reverb you have in your recording. So sometimes that may not be necessary and you may want to keep simple. For that case, the Waves Clarity VX is a better option. For content creators, they may not record in an ideal room and they may have a sound reverb problem. So for them, Supertone Clear can be a good option. And if you already have the iZotope RX, you can also check the voice denoise inside the iZotope RX. For just reducing noise, I won't recommend getting the iZotope RX. iZotope RX has other features for which you want to use. For example, reducing mouth clicks. For a better de-essing effect, you can use the iZotope RX. I will get into this point later. But if you already have iZotope RX, you can check that how the DeNoise is performing comparing to the built-in effects in your Adobe Audition. So these are the options to explore regarding the noise reduction. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, that you have to be careful that no extra noise gets into your recording. If you have irregular background noise, the kind of noise that does not fall into the category of white noise or consistent noise, it is very difficult to remove through using software. So you have to be careful about that. And if you are trying to reducing noise, hissing noise, then you can look at the options I have discussed. And if you have access to the school community, if you have any questions and if you have access to the school community, I would recommend that you post your questions, your thoughts on this, and I will also try to answer, and other members of this community will get benefited. If you are looking for more personalized one-to-one help in audio editing, then and understanding all the software and how to use that, it can be beginner level or advanced level. It can be for voiceover, it can be for audiobook, it can be for podcasts or content creation. If you are looking for one-to-one help, then I would suggest you check this premium consulting. This premium consulting, these are basically one-to-one Zoom calls with me, and I will discuss in detail and I'll customize the curriculum based on your need. So I'll leave this link in the description. Please check from here, and if you have any questions, please let me know through the email about this premium consulting. Thank you for watching. See you next.